Hello, everybody. We are 2 weeks away from this pre-release of Season Strixhaven at the time of recording this, and I am so excited for this set, and I hope you all are too. But yeah, today there's more stuff that they're showing out, and I wanted to talk about it and just give my opinions on it and kind of assess it on standard and sealed as well. Those are the two main things. I'm going to talk a little bit about Commander as well. But yeah, main goals is standard and sealed. Let's get into this. So, the very first cards I want to talk about are the white cards. I think besides green, which actually, I'm not covering any green cards in this set, just to let you guys know before, because right now there really are none. I already showed you guys the main one. But for white, Shattered Acolyte, I think, is going to be the one that will probably see the most play of any card, and I think that purely for the sheer fact that it's so similar to Curious Farm Animals from the Avatar set. They both are very cheap creatures that gain life they both let you have the ability to gain life, and they both have a sack ability that lets them destroy an artifact or enchantment. The Curious Farm Animals cost 2, and he only gains you life when he dies, while Shattered Acolyte is a 2/2 body with lifelink, so it's doing more damage and gaining more life over a longer period of time, hypothetically. And it's one to sacrifice instead, so in say in a control deck, you can more easily hold up 1 mana rather than 2 mana that you needed to have for the Curious Farm Animals. Yes, the initial investment is 1 higher, but I'd rather do that than the Curious Farm Animals in my opinion. But we'll see, maybe I'm wrong. Other than that, Graduation Day is the other big thing I think that they've shown so far for white. Graduation Day is a one white enchantment that's set with Reparty. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Now, there isn't really a white spell sling deck like that right now, but I can obviously see there being one, and I think especially in sealed, this will be a big deal. Overall, those are the 2 cards in white that I think will really make a big splash in sealed and standard that we've seen so far. But yeah, from there, let's go ahead and go into blue, which I think is kind of nutty, and they've shown the most cards for blue in the first place. So yeah, let's get into that one. First off, I want to talk about Campus Composer. So, Campus Composer is a 3/1 blue creature Merfolk Bard with Ward 2, and this creature enters prepared. Now, for those who don't know, a prepared is as long as the creature is prepared, you can cast whatever spell is attached to it. So, say in this case, it is Aqueous Aria, which is a 4/1 blue sorcery. You can create a 3/3 blue and red elemental creature token with flying. Now, this plays right into what I've been talking about in the previous one where I said I think there's going to be a really big buff for Izzet Elemental and other, just casting spells for 5 mana or more. Because they're really pushing for it, and even right here is on a common card. They have the 5-drop for it, and it's just another way to improve and also have bodies. Other than that, the other big one I think is going to be Deluge Virtuoso. So it's 2 and a blue, creature human wizard. When this creature enters, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. With Opus, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, this creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And for Aqueous Aria on Campus Composer is a spell you're casting, so it does trigger this, which is again why I'm saying, it's going to be a big thing that you're really trying to push for this set. And Pensive Prophet, this one I really like. So it's one blue. It's a creature with human wizard. It's a rare with increment. Increment is whenever you cast a spell. If his mana spent to cast it was greater than this creature's power, you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And he also reads, whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on this creature, draw a card. So, yeah, you're drawing cards, getting a bunch of bonus benefit off of it. Who doesn't want that? All pretty solid cards, and I think it's going to be this. I think these will be really solid cards in standard and in sealed especially. The Campus Composer, Deluge Virtuoso will probably be staples for any sort of strategy you run in blue, especially blue-red. The other 2 cards that I've seen that I think are going to make a pretty good splash in probably standard more than any, or not standard, sealed, is Wisdom of Ages, which is 4 blue. Very expensive card, I know. It's a rare. It's a rare sorcery at that. Return all instant and sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. You have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Exile Wisdom of Ages. Now this could hypothetically make a big splash in standard, but I think it's a little too expensive. Maybe not with some of the things that we're going to see. But in 7 mana, there is place for it. There's precedent, especially with waterbenders. With the waterbending, it's 3 and waterbend 6. But it's hard to say for me. I like the card. I'm not sure if it's enough. The other card I really like in blue is Muse's Encouragement. It's 4 and a blue, which again fits right into the whole, is it casting spells with 5 mana value greater to get better effects. Which also reads, create a 3/3 blue and red elemental creature token with flying, then Surveil 2, which for those who don't know, Surveil 2 lets you look at the top 2 of your library. And then you can either choose to keep them on top in whatever order you want, or send one or both to the graveyard. It's overall a really valuable effect that everyone wants in standard. But from here, that's the blue cards. I now want to talk about, surprise, surprise, the red cards in this set that go right along with this and other strategies they can play. So in red, I'm not sure if this one will actually be a standard staple, but I definitely see it being played in Commander and probably can be a pretty big, crazy bomb in Sealed. So it's Improvisation Capstone. 5 red. It's a sorcery that's a sub-archetype of Lesson, which is it lessons, more lesson cards. Yay, for those who don't like lessons. I like the deck. I think it's a cool concept. But the card itself reads, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile cards with total mana value 4 or greater. You may cast any number of spells from among them without paying the mana cost. It also has Paradigm, which is you exile the spell after you first resolve a spell with this name. You may cast a copy of it from exile without paying its mana cost at the beginning of each of your first main phases. That is a pretty solid effect in my opinion. It's so expensive, especially for standard. It's a little expensive nowadays. I think there's probably a deck for something that you can do with this. I would like to look into it and try to figure something out myself. Not promising I will, but I would love to. It'd be really fun to make this work somehow. But yeah, I think it'll be a really good bomb in standard, or excuse me, in Sealed. Standard, I'm not too sure. Commander, I think people will be itching to figure this out in Commander, especially with the big card pool that you have there. I do think it goes kind of against the is it spell elementals, like the 5 cost idea that you have going on, because if you cast this, it's looking for cards with mana value 4 or less, which does kind of defeat that purpose. But maybe I'm wrong about that too. Who knows? We'll see. The next card I think we'll definitely see play is Flashback, because it's 1 red. It's an instant that says target instant sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. You may cast a card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then exile it. Yeah, it just lets you get an extra effect out of a card you've already used in the game. So instead of having 4 Lightning Helixes, you can now have 8, and these ones are even cheaper because Lightning Helix is red and a white. This is only red. Yes, you exile it, but at what point do you actually care about it being in your graveyard? So yeah, pretty solid card all around in general. The other big thing I think is going to be Steal the Show. 2 and a red. It's a sorcery that says choose one or both. Target player discards any number of cards and draws that many cards. If you have a bad hand and you're already in the Is It Lessons deck where you're trying to discard cards anyways, this is just the way to do it for possibly game. And you can also The other mode says Steal the Show deals damage equal to the number of instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard to target creature or planeswalker. Yeah, that alone already is really great as well too. You just deal a bunch of damage to the creature. It's your draw and your removal at the same time. That's good in general too. It is a sorcery speed, not instant speed, but I think that's a fair trade-off here. For everyone who's watching this right now, I just want to thank you for watching this far in. And if you are still watching, hey, consider leaving a comment, like, and subscribe. The subscribe especially. Come on. I'm trying here. I know I'm not the best, but hey, if you're enjoying it and you're this deep in, subscribe. Please. Have a good day. On with the video. The other cards I think are going to be a big deal in Seal more than anything that's standard or Commander is going to be Heated Argument, which I love because for those who aren't keeping up with the story, Johnny and Chandra end up in a big fight, and yeah, this Heated Argument just shows it, and it looks so good in my opinion. But Heated Argument itself is 4 and a red. It's instant reads. Heat Argument deals 6 damage to target creature. You may exile a card from your graveyard. If you do, Heat Argument also deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. Which, that is a pretty solid effect. It's a high-end removal, and it lets you deal damage to the opponent too. So in a mono-red burn deck, this is going to be solid. In a Izzet deck, I can see this doing well too. But yeah, it's a common, it's a solid burn spell. Artistic Process, 3 red. It's a sorcery that reads, choose one. Artistic Process deals 6 damage to target creature, or Artistic Process deals 2 damage to each creature you don't control. And then also the third mode is create a 3/3 blue and red elemental creature token with flying. It gains haste until end of turn. Again, more spells that cost 5 or more that create elementals. Is the spell elementals, like that whole thing is going on. It's going to be a really big player in general. Finally, we have Expressive Fire Dancer, 1 and a red. It's a human sorcerer that with Opus. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast this spell, this creature also gains double strike until end of turn. This can be a really big, like, it's basically prowess with extra steps. Well, it literally is prowess. You get +1/+1 until end of turn, but it has the possibility of getting double strike too, which is really good. I see this getting a lot of play in general, like in standard or sealed. Next up, I want to talk about black. Black is probably one of my favorite colors of all time. I always love black. It's always so much fun for me. The biggest thing I'm looking for here is Grave Researcher. 2 and a black. It's a creature, Troll Warlock. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. Then if there are 3 more creature cards in your graveyard, this creature becomes prepared. And its prepared is reanimate, 1 black, sorcery. Put target creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under control. You lose life equal to that card's mana value. Now that already is really solid in general. I don't think this will go into the Cavero deck, but I think this goes into something like Goblins or other like small go wide boards and things. It's another way to cheat out creatures like this in a Sephiroth deck where you're sacrificing things like Infestation, or not Infestation. Why am I forgetting the name of it? You know what I'm talking about. It's the elf that costs 1. You sack it, you get an insect out of it. Plus, there's going to be pests and things to sacrifice. There's going to be things to creating pests. This is just going to be a solid card, I think, in general. Rouse Zarek, I really love him. He looks really good. I love him in the black-white color scheme. It's still, I want to know why he's like that. I haven't got that far in the story yet. If anyone is keeping up, I've not got to a point where they have revealed it, if they already have. But I don't think he has enough. Other people have said it, and I'm going to repeat it. He has no way to protect himself. Most planeswalkers that, in standard specifically, are really good, tend to have a way to protect themselves. In sealed, he'll probably be great. He'll be a great thing to pull and be able to use and take advantage of. But in standard, he dies too easily. He only has 3 loyalty, so just about anything on turn 3 will probably kill him or bring him down. And the Surveil is great. I love the Surveil. The Surveil is a fine +1. But again, the fact that he has no way of defending himself, besides maybe returning target creature. If you -2 him, you bring something back from the graveyard, sure, fine. But then he's at 1. And then you just... If they have more than 1 creature or they have trample, he's just dead. So yeah, I love him. I really hope he does end up being good. I probably will try to use him if I have him. But I don't think he'll be the end-all be-all of standard. Sealed, he'll do great. Commander, people will do things with him. He'll work. But yeah. Withering Curse, I think, is a really needed board wipe. It's 1 black sorcery that all creatures get -2/-2 until end turn. Infusion. If you gain life this turn, destroy all creatures instead. We need more effects like this that just board wipe everything for cheap. And especially -2/-2, because you have Badger Mole Cub, you have just Elf in general, and all these other just really small decks like Prowess and all this. It's just a perfect way to get rid of all of them without affecting other boards that want to go bigger. And I'm happy to see it. I can't possibly talk about the new set without talking about the different students that we've already seen before. First up, let's talk about Abigail, Poet Laureate. 1 white and a black. She's a legendary creature, Bird Bard with flying, and whenever you cast a creature spell, Abigail becomes prepared. Her prepared spell is Heroic Stanza, 1 white or a black. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That already is pretty standard, or pretty solid, excuse me. It's a 2/3 body that basically whenever you cast a spell, you're able to spend another 2 mana to give it a +1/+1 counter, or another creature. It's not going to be the end of the world, but I think it is a solid way to buff things and make a bigger board that of smaller threats. Yeah, I like it. I'm hoping to see it. I'm hoping to see it make some big splashes, maybe. Next up, we have Carol, History Buff, with red and a white, legendary creature, vampire cleric. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, Carol becomes prepared. His prepared spell is Pack-a-Punch, 1 red and a white. It's a sorcery. Mill a card, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains trample until end of turn. That again, but it makes other creatures stronger, and it's a 2/3 body. Solid. I enjoy it. I think it's going to do good things, especially in sealed. Standard, I can't say too much, but I do think they're primarily intended for sealed in the first place. But yeah, story-wise, I love them. If you guys aren't keeping the story, you really should. It's so good. I'm really enjoying it. Next up, Lewin, Exchange Student. 2 black and a green. Legendary creature, Elf Druid. Lewin enters prepared. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Lewin becomes prepared. Activate only as a sorcery. Pest Friend. Black or green. It's a sorcery. Would create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with. Whenever this token attacks, you gain 1 life. Again, like I said, pests are going to be around. They're going to be a big deal. And she inherently creates them and is just really solid. I really like it. It's a 3/4 body. She does cost 4 mana, which at the 4 mana ability range, you're usually doing more than this in standard at least. In sealed, I think this will be a great bomb. Like, this will be a great way to end the game out, because you'll have her, and every turn basically you're able to just exile a creature from your graveyard. Actually, you can do this in the same turn. You could exile a creature, cast it, and create the pest. Do it again and just create a bunch of pests and then swing out for game and gain yourself a bunch of life. I think she's going to do a lot in sealed specifically. I think there is room for her to possibly do something standard, but definitely not to the same extent as other cards that are already around. Onto that, let's go on to our other friends, Tam and Sinar. So, let's start with Tam. Tam, Observer Sequencer. 2 green and a blue, legendary creature, Gorgon Wizard. Landfall. Whenever a land creature enters, Tam becomes prepared. Deep Sight. Her spell is Deep Sight, green and blue. It's a sorcery with you draw a card and gain 1 life. So, in sealed again, I think this would be a really good spell to have. You play land, you get to draw a card and you gain life. That can keep you going for a while, especially on a 4/3 body. That might be kind of hard to get rid of in some games. But standard, it's nothing too crazy. There is the landfall deck, but it's kind of just a weaker version of Tatiova in the first place. So I don't think she does too much in standard. I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong. Sinar, Unfinished Genius. Blue and red. It's a legendary creature, Goblin Sorcerer. Sinar enters prepared. And you can tap him, create a treasure token, activate only if you cast an instant source spell this turn. So he just lets you create treasures, which is always nice, especially in blue-red with the stuff that's going on. You're going to need the mana. So I'm happy to see it. It's going to be really solid, I think. And its prepared spell is, by the way, Wild Idea. 3 blue and a red. Search your library for an instant sorcery card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. So I think his tap ability is really good. The fact that he doesn't let himself re-prepare is kind of worrying for me, just for the sheer fact that it's only a one-time use. But his isn't as repeatable in the first place. It's a 5-drop, so a lot more expensive to be able to cast. And it's a tutor. A tutor is great in general. And on a 0/4 body, that's creating new treasures, it's probably not a bad thing. And maybe being able to do this multiple times in the game probably would be a little too busted. I think he's going to be really good for the sealed set that he's in. I think he'll be a really good uncommon to pull for the blue-red deck. Will he be in standard? Probably not. I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong, but I don't see him making big splashes in standard. I almost completely forgot. His spell is a 5-drop too, so even more reason for the 5 cost Izzet deck to be a thing. And of course, it wouldn't be Strixhaven without talking about the dragons of each college. So first off, let's talk about Prismari. Prismari the Inspiration. 5 blue and a red. Legendary creature Elder Dragon. With flying, ward, pay 5 life, instant and sorcery spells you cast have Storm. So the ward pay 5 life, yes, pay 5 life is annoying, but it's probably the least scary ward ability because it doesn't cost extra mana, and so it's easier to get rid of if you're willing to pay the life. People who are scared of paying life might have a problem, but otherwise it's not that big of a deal. And it's a 7/7, and it's a 7/7 that costs 7 mana. That already is pretty good, but getting to 7 mana in Standard's kind of rough. I think in Sealed, this could be a really good top end, especially the fact that it gives everything Storm. While it's not casting the copies, you still get 2-3 copies of spells, hypothetically. And that's already pretty solid. Quantrix the Proof, the Prof Proof, how do you say that? 4 green and a blue. Legendary creature Elder Dragon. With Flying Trample and Cascade. So you cast him, and you get to cast anything with 5 or less mana from your deck, which is already really good. Instant sword spells Instant and sword spells you cast from your hand have Cascade. Another really solid effect, just cascading. Unfortunately, it's not off top. You could just go infinite with that, but I see why they didn't do that. It makes sense. Yeah, solid card, really good bomb for Sealed. Standard, I think it could make things. Commander, especially, I think all the dragons are going to be really good Commander cards. And Sealed, if you get them Sealed, they're going to be really good bombs in the late game to have. And then Lorehold the Historian, 3 red and a white. Legendary creature Elder Dragon once again with Flying and Haste. Each instant sword card in your hand has Miracle 2. So Miracle 2 is if you can draw this turn, you may cast it. If it's the first spell you cast this turn for 2 mana. Again, each of your opponent's upkeep, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. That's Commander coded. Lorehold is Commander coded entirely. Like, oh, I'm going to discard this card to draw on your turn. I'm going to discard it. And so you can see a lot of cards in a game of Commander. You can too in a Sealed or Standard pool, but it's definitely more useful in Commander, I think. The Miracle cost as well. It's going to be good in Standard if you get to cast some crazy big 5-drop instant sorcery for 2 mana. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal. But I think the odds of that happening consistently are not worth the risk in Standard Sealed. It's still going to be good. It's good body. But yeah. From there, let's not go into the other dragons. Silver Quill the Disputant. 2 white and a black. With Flying and Vigilance. Each instant sorcery spell you cast has Casualty 1. Which Casualty 1 is you can sacrifice any creature with power 1 or greater to make a new copy of the spell you just cast. Which is, yeah, that's a really solid effect. Oh, I'm going to cast this removal spell. I'm going to kill this guy right here. Oh, I'm also going to sacrifice this. Copy it. I'm going to kill that guy right there. Yeah, that's solid. Or you just copy a buff spell, like off Abigail or something. All these other spells, and if you're in a black-white deck, you're probably going to have fodder you are willing to sacrifice. Or if you splash in green or something, you can have in Lewin or anything else in Sealed. Standard, it's black-white, already has a lot of token generation. You're pretty solid in sacrifice outlets in the first place. So yeah, I think Silver Quill the Disputant is probably going to be the best Elder Dragon of the 5. I could be wrong, but I truly do believe it's going to be the one I want to play around with the most, along with the Blue and the Balancer. If you guys missed my last video, we already talked about it. I think it's going to be solid. I think it could be better, but in Sealed especially, it's going to be a really solid bomb in black-green. From there, let's go into some of my... It's the last 2 cards. It's more honorable mention-y. I didn't know where else to put them into the video. So yeah, here we go. I wouldn't feel right if we just ignored this guy in general. Professor Delian Fell is the newest Planeswalker introduced into Magic the Gathering. He's 2 black and a green. His +2 is you gain 3 life. You have a 0 ability, you draw a card and lose 1 life. His -3, destroy target creature. -6, you get an emblem with whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So, it's great. He is the epitome of like Planeswalker. It's the most standard abilities. He doesn't necessarily have a way to defend himself. He does have his -3, leaving himself at 2. But I am worried about it Again, if they have more than one creature or if they have multiple threats, it could be a problem. But he is better than Rel, I think, because he straight up removes a creature, so you can get rid of a really big bomb from somebody. And he also lets you gain life. And he's left at, if you do his -3 on his first turn he comes in, he's left at 2 versus 1, which is much better and much more manageable. And his -6, it's not very likely you'll get to it. Well, actually, kind of, because if you +2 him once, you gain 3 life. The next turn you -6, you go to bring him down to 1. You get his emblem. So his emblem is a lot easier to get to than some emblems of other characters. His emblem is really good, though, because you gain life, your opponent loses that much life. That, as we've seen before, as everyone's probably seen, he goes infinite with the ham sandwich. I like him. I really think he's going to be good, but we'll see. The last card I think is going to be kind of reinforcing that is it deck I'm talking about. Resonating Loot. 2 blue and a red. It's an artifact that says, lands you control have tap, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana, only cast instant sorcery spells. Just mana doubling your mana for your lands on instant sorceries is going to be so helpful, especially when you have spells that cost 7, 8 mana. Like if you're trying to get the 5 mana, it just makes sense. The tap ability is not going to be too helpful, I think, because it's tap, draw a card, activate only if you have 7 more cards in your hand. If you have the 1/7 drop that lets you have infinite hand size, this could become an instant, like, this is going to be useful every turn. But otherwise, that tap ability is more for late game and kind of Disneyland-y, I think. But who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a lot easier than I realize. Hey, thank you all for watching. Hope you really enjoyed the video. If you got this far, and I assume you did, and if you didn't, let me know what kept you watching for so long, and let me know what I can do better. And yeah, I'm really excited for the set. I hope you all are too. If you have not been keeping up with the story, I really suggest you do. It is so good. I'm really enjoying it so much, and it's such a return to form of what Magic should be, you know? But yeah. Like I said before, like, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day. Bye.